Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Today's video is an introduction to mindfulness. Mindfulness has become quite of a trend and it can be pretty vague or confusing for the people who are new to it. At least that's how it was for me when I first started. And so in today's video, I wanted to explain the concept, explain the benefits, but also provide an overview of the different practices that make up the practice of mindfulness. So let's get started. What is mindfulness? In a sense, the practice of mindfulness is to bring our attention to what we are doing in the present moment and to what is happening inside us. A lot of the time that we spend awake, we actually spend it either thinking about the future or thinking about the past. Maybe we have some worries like an exam, a deadline, or we are concerned about things that may happen in the future. And so we tend to ruminate on them, or we have some regrets of things that we have done in the past, and without being conscious of it, we spend time thinking about that. So first and foremost, the practice of mindfulness is to bring attention to the present moment. Because when we do that, when we're fully focused on the present moment, we let go of the future and we let go of the past. When we are in the present moment, we can do two things. The first one is recognizing the conditions of happiness that are already available to us. For example, that the fact that we can walk, that we are healthy, that we have food, that we live in a safe environment, or that we have a roof above our head. When I list those conditions, I'm sure that for many of you that does not inspire necessarily joy, because most of us, honestly, we take those things for granted. But yet, if any of those conditions were taken away from us, we will suffer greatly. So the first practice of mindfulness is to nourish our happiness in our daily life by recognizing, by remembering the conditions of happiness that we already have. The second goal of mindfulness is to come back to the present moment to take care of our suffering. And by suffering, I mean our stress, our anxiety, our fear, our anger, our loneliness, and so forth. Usually when we experience this kind of suffering, our natural reaction is to turn away from it because this is an unpleasant experience. So we either distract ourselves from it by turning TV, by eating something, or by using social media, or sometimes they are so strong that we want to numb those experiences, those feelings. So we take drugs or we take alcohol and so forth, so that we don't have to feel, this kind of suffering. So the second goal is, instead of running away from it, is to turn towards it and to find some sense of stability, some sense of calm in the midst of our stress. Once we can do that, then we can have more clarity on why we suffer, why we feel anxious, why we feel stressed. And so when we have some more clarity, we can understand the causes, then we can find a path out. We can find a path to well-being, to experience some sense of ease, some sense of peace, and some sense of freedom, really. So the second side of mindfulness is to take care of our challenges, of our suffering, so that we can understand the root causes and find a way out, find a path to ease, peace, and freedom. A useful image given by Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh is to see mindfulness as the two wings of a bird. So the first wing is pausing, and the second wing is deep looking. First, pausing. In order for us to enjoy our experience, we need to be present. So maybe you can recall in your experience when you had a meal that looked so delicious, and then you ate your meal. But because you were so distracted by a conversation or watching a movie at the same time, you ate your meal, and at the end of it, you could not really remember all the flavors or the ingredients that were in this meal. So in order for us to really enjoy our day-to-day life, we need to be present for it instead of being lost in the future or in the past. And the second one is deep looking. Looking deeply into our challenges, again, to understand the root causes of our suffering, and so find a way out to well-being, to freedom, and so forth. So now about the practices of mindfulness. There are many ways to practice mindfulness in your daily life. So first, you can practice mindfulness in all the activities that you currently do. Walking, driving, eating, brushing your teeth, showering, and so forth. And don't worry, I will make videos about all of those practices, but for today I just wanted to share that you can practice mindfulness in all activities of your daily life. Okay. And the second way to practice mindfulness is to practice sitting meditation. And in here you have several practices in your sitting meditation. Practicing mindful breathing, that is a foundation of mindfulness practice, and we will learn more about it next week. Then you have the practice of being mindful of your body, so mindfulness of the body, which is also a foundational practice. We think that mindfulness, it's all about having a clear mind and resolving everything in your mind, but actually the practice of mindfulness gives a lot of emphasis and importance to the body, and we will learn why so. Then you have mindfulness of your feelings and emotions. Our feelings can be very powerful and are a great part of our life. They can be also very overwhelming. So we will learn how to deal with strong emotions. And then we will learn about mindfulness of thoughts, how to notice your thoughts, how to let go of them, and also how to question your thoughts, because there's a lot of things going on in our mind, and most of the time we tend to believe the first thought that comes up. So we'll learn how to listen to them and how to let go of the thoughts that are not useful to our daily life. So that is it for today's video. I hope that it will inspire you to practice mindfulness, and that you will join me in the future videos. So again, next week we'll start with mindful breathing, which is really the foundation of mindfulness practice. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon.